Hi everyone, welcome back to our podcast Misadventures of Black Damsels. Yay, 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 where we have frank and authentic conversations about womanhood, adulting, and everything damseling. So, again, we have our hosts. I am Lerato. You guys know who I am. You guys know who I am. The former Imboroto.
We should use that. We should use that
former
bio.
ride or die. It was a ride or die. Former ride or die. Reformed, changed.
Speak
Yeah,
life.
we doing better now. Yeah.
For me, Mrs. Whatever.
I wonder what this Mrs. Whatever means, eh?
Like,
Hey guys, I am Azam and your resident voice of reason. Ba-ba-ba-bum. In today's episode, we are talking about mothering. All things mothering, from the successes and the struggles, the triumphs of mothering, and all the lessons in between. This is a tough one. Yeah.
It's kind of borders on very personal stories today, so stay tuned.
I don't even think I have enough to drink for today's topic. Yo.
So, to start off, what are your thoughts on modern motherhood? Modern.
Modern motherhood pressure. So much pressure. So much hong, so much west methods. So much teach your kids that. So yeah, like modern parenting overall is not the same anymore. It's a lot of show off, for lack of a better English. What do you think?
I think modern mothering is both liberating and steals away from the humanness of women. Liberating in that I think women can have candid conversations now about how terrible kids are. For example, I'm not a mother, but watch me say this every day. But I think also it does steal from womanness in that once you tap into that, despite the world requiring you to maintain your womanness and your just who you are, they also want you to be like this 100% mother. And the two sometimes don't exist well next to each other. So I think it's a tricky space altogether. But yeah.
Why are you whispering? Why can't you just say the AC? Wow, guys.
Sorry.
What do you think?
Wow, honestly, I have no thoughts. It's very hard for me to actually even bring myself to think about modern motherhood. For me, I feel it's difficult. It's very hard compared to previous generations. We are dealing with so much more new problems, new challenges that never existed before. And also, there's like an overload of information, experts saying this, people having opinions. Like, it's a very baffling and like confusing experience, specifically because I'm a mother. So
Let's throw it in the bin.
it's
Yo,
rough.
please.
It's rough.
That's a bin word.
Let's abort those missions. For those that have not embarked,
Abort. Oh my god.
abort those missions.
Mission abort.
Abort those strangers.
Wow. So speaking of previous generations and how now we are talking about modern mothering. Did I say modern mothering?
It's the it also
like-
chose me the.
So like, how do you think what's the difference? Is there any change between our mothers and us now?
Yes. This is something that I always tell my friends who don't have kids. Our parents, when they had us, they literally put themselves aside and they stopped existing. And we were the only thing that mattered to them. And we knew this. Our parents did everything and anything to make us this English that we are speaking today, right? This life that we are living today is because our parents put themselves aside and all that mattered to them was us. So we grew up knowing that we matter a lot. We grew up knowing that like we are just better than our parents were, right? We grew up going to better schools. We grew up experiencing better environments and better worlds. And now we are bringing our own kids into these worlds. So a selfish person, right, who was basically made to feel like you really, really matter. And then now you must share yourself and your I matter ideas about yourself with your child. So it becomes that tug of war, that pull and push. Like, I want to still travel and have my me time and sit down and listen to myself and have my space. And I still want to basically lead a single life while still being a fully present mother. And that's the battle that you have. Let me say I have as a single mother, where I want my child to definitely know she matters. She must be heard. Her emotions are valid and all of those things. But I want the same for myself because I was brought up in a space where they did matter and I did matter. So it's like we are trying to figure out how to balance, being the selves that we want to be to ourselves, for ourselves, plus also equally meeting the needs and the wants of our kids without there being, friction or imbalance between the two. So I think, for me, that's always something that I think about when I think the way my mother brought me up, the way I'm bringing up my child is like, my mother didn't care about going out. She didn't care about being fancy, her body. Like, all she did was be my mother. That's it. She was my mother. Nothing more. I don't remember her saying, oh, I'm going on a weekend away. I'm going on a trip to where I want to travel to this. I want to go to Greece, what. But I want those things for myself. And managing that and including my child in the mix is something that is new because I'm the first generation to want these things. So it's like a learning experience.
Yeah, and I think that's why, I definitely agree with that sentiment. That's why I say mothering today has a level of liberating nuance, because you can still want to be yourself, you're not relegated to the kitchen and the bedrooms of kids doing homework. You can still want yourself in that space. And I mean, that's what I see with a lot of mothers. And in fact, we should okay it. I think every mother has absolutely every right to be whatever kind of mother they want to be. Yeah.
But then you still haven't answered.
And how does it differ from that it was completely different? Like, that's why I was saying that I share her sentiments, that our mothers, once they were mothers, that's all they were.
That's the
Was
only
that the same experience with you, your mother as well?
I mean, I think I never saw anything that compromised the mothering part. That was first and foremost. And even if maybe she had a life outside of mothering, that was still first and foremost. And so I definitely can't say I see a space where she could have been a mother of the modern time who can be like, chill babe, today's not your day.
Yeah.
Every day was
My day. Yes.
Mine is a bit different. How old was your mom when she had you?
She was 29.
And your mom?
25.
My mom was young when she had me. She was 21. So like I have a very different experience because I was primarily raised by my grandmother. My mom was more like a sister, like an older sister. Yeah, I was my grandmother's child, I even called my mom by her name. That's how it was. And she had her own life, right? She would go out to meet her friends. But obviously I would come along. They would be drinking. And yes, she never really had any problems with, bringing me along. Also the grandmothers get tired as well of so sometimes she would have to bring me along. She would go for dates with her boyfriends, but then it was fun in a sense that we could do fun things, like we would go out for movies together, we would go to restaurants together. She was pretty chilled. She was strict, but then she was really chilled. So my experience now is very similar to my mom. Not how I was raised, but my mom. Because there wasn't any of that thing that she was just primarily the mom and she played that role. She'd go to school. She was very much modern. So I kind of feel like I'm in the same position as well. But then obviously the roles are different now. It's a lot that we are going through. It's harder because we don't have grandmothers, or at least most people don't have grandmothers anymore. Our grandmothers are getting younger and younger by the generation. They also want to, we want to go to Zimbabwe, we want to go to Magalisberg. They also want to live their own lives because they've given so much of themselves to raising us. So now that it's time for them to actually live their own lives, they don't have the same, time and desire compared to our old grandmothers, like our great grandmothers had before. So yeah, guys, let's dive into the maternal instinct.
Yeah.
Do you think the maternal instinct exists?
No.
Or do you think it's a fallacy?
Fallacious. I don't. And maybe because I don't have one. And I'm very proud not to, the older I get, guys, the prouder I am that this mothering business
didn't catch you.
Yeah, Joan.
And it's contagious, dude.
It is. It really is. That I can attest to.
Yeah.
But I do think those are those things I was saying that are these entrapments that women are forced into, right?
Yeah.
That as a woman, you must have this instinct. Women are dying, guys,
And we don't want
of depression because they don't.
want to.
And we're supposed to like always like embody this softness that is for kids and childbearing. And I mean, it doesn't matter that women give birth and go through postmortem depression. It doesn't matter that women are going in motherhood, like postpartum, years past that. You know, I just don't think those are honest things. I think we require so much of mothers, and it's just the burden of womanness, right? We require a lot of women, so therefore by extension we require a lot of mothers. We don't care about what they feel, and that's why I was saying that an old mother, that it doesn't matter what that mother was going through. All you have to do is to mother on. Mother on. And the stigma follows you. If you're too ambitious, chasing career, doing this, chasing your life, fetching your life, not a good mother.
You're not a good mother.
Just all you have to do is run after kids, wipe bums.
White spam.
Like, you know, this one is so emotional for me because,
Wait, first, do you have kids? She's
yes,
already said
I
she
already
doesn't
claimed
have.
myself as a single mother.
Okay.
To what Azam was saying, you know, like you get judged for being a bad parent if you want other things outside of being a mother. I've been judged by my family. When I first came to China, I came by myself. I came by myself when I first came to China, and I left my 1.5-year-old at the time daughter. And yeah, I needed to get the bread, make the money, you know. My own family was saying, I left my baby. I gave birth just to leave that child.
And they use language like dump.
Yeah, it's like dump. Yeah, like umpumune sono. Ushiye uzalelo umntana wamshiya. Yabo, like those kind of comments. And these are people that love their positions as mothers, but like I wanted more for myself. And another thing is that when you don't have the child, you are barren. So like you don't have the child, it's a problem. You have the child and you still want to maintain your ambitions and things that you desire for yourself, and you're still a bad mother. So like, which one must I be? So yeah, like always having to bring yourself towards yourself when you want so much for yourself and you want so much for a child, and then also all the noise that's happening around you is something that I did not anticipate because I did not know. And that's another thing, because our parents were not honest to us about the real deal of being a parent, the real deal of being a mother. That was not, like, no one ever said, Basopa. You know, it's always like, when are you having kids? You know, who's having kids? You're gonna have kids, you know. And I aspire to having kids. Like, my child is by no means a surprise.
Say it with your chest.
Okay, girl.
Like,
Sprinkles.
I sat down, like, guys, you have no idea how much I wanted to be my mother. Like, my mother is my biggest role model. So, like, I wanted to make sure I knew her life, because, like, she shared every experience she had with me. So I knew she gave birth at 23, and I wanted that. I was like, even me at 23, I must give birth. Even me at this age, I must be married. Or, like, you know, whatever I could do to match my mom, I wanted it. And so I got pregnant at 23 and gave birth when I was 24. And I wanted this child. I sat down with my partner. We said we are deciding, and we were trying, and we made it happen. I even know day of
Trying.
inception. I even know
Wow.
4 April.
I win. Look at this.
Tell it. The mother instinct. Well, I have kids, 2 of the best. I have a daughter, I have a son. My daughter is 5, my son is 10. Single mom, 2 different fathers. And yeah, I don't think the motherly instinct exists. It's the greatest lie. It's the greatest scam that's ever been sold to mothers. What a lie.
Hey.
What a lie. Walai. Wow. And I realized this when I just didn't, like, I just...
You don't have the desire. Like, it's like, simple thing is like, that mommy look, guys. I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at. And I must say, wow. It's not wow.
No, me, I can wow. I love babies.
Or like the
But then
conversations. It's
The
not interesting.
that like, I'm very strict, guys. Motherly instinct is that soft
Nurturing.
Don't do that. No, baby, no. Hey, here we beat.
Yeah, that
We
is it.
beat.
That is it.
So it's very... I remember what made me realize this was my cousin, the one I was talking about in the previous
Our
episode.
favorite person in the world.
Because I had my son in 2012 on the 25th of June. She had her son the next year on the 28th of June. So like our kids are very close in terms of birthday and stuff. And they also boys. And how she was with her son. And she would always say, "Oh, Mara Lerato, when you are so strict, why aren't you laughing with the I'm like, because he's being annoying. Like, how do I fake Quincy, my guys?
Save us!
It's so hard, guys. Like, how do you fake being soft when you are very annoyed? Stop it. That behavior is annoying. Why?
It is.
Why
Like,
do you...
it's so unnecessary. And you're bora. And you're doing too much.
Kids are so annoying. But then yeah, the motherly instinct thing, or like not having your mothers tell you, which I don't go there, don't have kids or what. My family said don't have kids. My grandmother always used to say 7 B's. Boys before, books before boys, because boys bring babies. So like I always knew never ever have children. And both my kids were surprise. they were not planned. But then there were beautiful surprises, bundles of joy, apparently, you know. So yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
It's so...
I think there was never an
It's such a
explicit
big
conversation at home about not having kids. But there was definitely always like this linger. Hey, kunzima. Umbonile. Like, I think that's something I really appreciate about my family. Like how candid they were about their reactions around motherhood. Like when we see extended family, oof, it's hard.
babes.
It's hot. Look, it's hot. Umbonile. You know, we always had those matters. And so it was always like a scary thing for us to I think it's the connection. Yeah. It was always a scary thing for us to have kids. And like growing up in a house of mostly girls, especially my sisters, they were those people, book smart, pressure. We knew, bruh, you're screwing yourself over if you're gonna have kids. And then like some
Yeah.
of us were big in church. That was not a conversation to be had, you know. So I'm definitely grateful for that, like the fear that was put in me around kids, because it definitely always allowed me to run away from any desire around kids. And I mean, I think I also always knew I never wanted kids, but as I grew older, it was cemented because I started seeing them. And now I
Bruh,
work with them.
flames.
I work with them every day of my life.
Yeah.
Me.
Get your kids, guys.
Me, the thing is, the funny thing about working with kids, I love working with kids, but I don't like unruly kids. And like what I've noticed, Chinese kids, the worst of the crop, worst, rotten, disrespectful. They don't see a human being for who they are. But I also like other children's or other people's children. A child where I can just come and say, hello, Nana, play, and then go.
Ben.
Now, don't get me wrong, damsels. I love being a mother. I kind of feel like had I not been a mom, I probably would have killed myself a long time ago. I would have felt like I have nothing to live for. The only reason, I'm being honest.
So dark.
Zisasuga.
Oh Lord.
This is part 2, yo, the dark side. So yeah, like I feel like in a way my kids saved me, even though now it's not easy. I have to work extra hard. Yeah, I'm always broke. You're always crying, always having to send money back home. I haven't seen my kids in 3 years. It's stressful, but then it is what it is at the end of the day.
And they are living the best life.
I guess.
And you're such a great mother. Like, I think we need to give ourselves that credit. Like, you're a bomb-ass mother. Better than both fathers combined.
I did not say. I'm sure.
I said it.
I'm
I'm not
sure.
afraid. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. But yeah, I think take your flowers.
Yeah, let's give you your flowers.
Yes, have your flowers.
And yes, she was a good mother.
Have your flowers. You're the bomb deity.
Yeah,
Like you have math tutoring with your son online.
bruh, I did. COVID
Like,
was doing
can
the most.
you understand?
COVID was doing
Could
the
never
most.
be me because I'm just like.
But then I think this brings us to our, the most important part of why we wanted to talk about this topic, which is mom guilt and how crippling mom guilt is, especially for us modern moms, young mothers, because we aspire so much to our mothers. We see our mothers and we are like, oh my God, why am I not this? Why am I not that? Why don't I have this proverbial motherly instinct that does not exist? So what do you think mom guilt is? Do you have it?
Definitely, I have it 24/7. There's no rest.
365
From mom guilt.
Like all day, every day, and it's very crippling. It's so crippling, and that's where I feel like being a nurturer for me personally is not a natural thing that I have as a person. And it took me becoming a mother to realize this. I would have not known this until I became a mother myself. I don't have like the empathy or sympathy that my child desires from me on like simple basic things like her crying because she sees a needle or her falling, because to me I process a lot of the experiences she has as a child I process them as an adult.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So I'm like, a needle won't hurt you, it's gonna help you. She doesn't know that I do. You're falling, you're fine. She doesn't know that I do. So like, I must always, and I mean always, like literally always, be intentional.
Yes, and be here.
Like, it's not by birth, by nature. It's by therapy. It's by awareness. It's by bring yourself towards yourself and rewire your brain. This is not an adult. This is a child. So that's the mom guilt that I have all day, every day. We're doing reading practice, we're doing math, we're doing what? I'm like, catch up, girl. Girl, what's wrong? But she's 6. And the way my baby is sassy, guys.
You're the sassiest of kids.
My child is sassy. Like, she'll literally tell me, like, I'm just a kid, you know? And then I'll have to be like, she's like, I'm just a kid. And then like, I'm like, okay, yes, you are a kid. It's like, yes, and I'm trying, okay? So stop forcing me.
Yeah, with
and
the face.
Bruh. Oh, the face by birth. That one is by birth.
She gets it from you also.
Story for another day. But I know for sure, like, the mom guilt kicks in, and I know the nurturing part in me kicks in when my child is in pain. Like, I jump. I like, it's an, like,
it's a trigger.
Yeah, it's a trigger. Like, last night, for example, she rolled off her bed and fell by herself. Yeah, she started crying. In my deep sleep, in my room, on the other side of the house, I heard that crying. I started crying in my mamaza, you know. But on like simple daily experiences, I'm like, girl, you're doing too much. Girl, get with it. Your brain. If she can tell you how many times I'm like, use your brain. And so, yeah, guys, like, mom guilt is real. You're comparing yourself to other mothers. You're comparing yourself to better mothers, people who are
not even better mothers, no.
Or like nurturers, because there are women who are nurturers. Like, there's women who don't have kids, but they are just a nurturing nature. And then you see yourself, then
like it, like guys, I think being a is this roach on the floor
you said
stressing me.
You
Like, being a nurturer does not automatically make you or qualify you to be the best mom or to be a good mom. Because I remember when I was doing therapy, I think was last year when I still could afford therapy. And my therapist sent me like different mothering styles similar to attachment styles. Like, what kind of mother do you want to be? Because I'm a very strict mom, but I also thrive on having my kids like learn to be independent. I don't faff, I don't hover. If you can put on, my son could put on his pants before he was 3 years old. I strive to be that kind of mom, that you are your own person, I'm your own person, do your thing, bruh. Come to me absolutely when it is absolutely life or death. Don't, and also nurturing mothers kind of also sometimes create very spoiled kids, because nurturing mothers also tend to sometimes hover and like overexert themselves into their children's lives. they thinking they nurturing their kids. Oh, I'm protecting my kids. You're now being overly protective of your kids to a point where your child does not know who they are outside of that cocoon that you have created for them. So yeah, I wanted to speak on that point. For the nurturing does not mean you're gonna be the best mom. Yes. Azan?
Yeah. What was the question again?
The question was
Mom guilt.
mom guilt.
I'm gonna say one thing. Mom guilt maybe exists, maybe doesn't exist, but the world has created different kids. Kids today are nasty motherfuckers.
Hoes.
Kids today.
Those hoes.
Assholes.
I don't care who says what. Those people are horrible. Kids today
Oh my gosh.
are not nice. And I wouldn't advise anybody with any breath in their body to have kids. Because those people are terrible.
Yes.
Deep inside their heart.
And
Bruh,
it's
they're
getting
evil.
worse.
Oh my
And it's getting worse. And they look at their
God.
parents and every day they say, I will make you suffer.
The entitlement.
You will suffer the consequential.
It's punishment. It's
No,
like,
kids are
yeah,
terrible.
I didn't ask to be brought here, so therefore you will suffer.
But also the thing about it is that like the times that we are living in is where kids are more important than anything under the sun.
But we make that happen.
And we are the generation that is thriving in that importance of teach your child. Like every time I see those posts of teach your child. Woo,
I am beautiful.
I
am
want to
tough,
just.
But then you do that with your daughter.
I do what?
I am powerful, I am magic, I am a superstar.
No, but like I don't feel like firstly, I'm doing that for her because she's in a different country and she's the only different child. So she needs it. It's very intentional because of the environment. If she was home, I don't think those things would matter as much as they do in China. But like when I go online and like my first years of being a mother, I used to follow a lot of like the parenting groups and yes. So they would be like, oh, when your child is throwing a tantrum, breathe 5 times. Teach your child 3 years old, teach your child economics and
Beat that person. That's all you
and I'm
teach your
like,
child.
guys, I'm just trying to manage this child surviving day by day by day.
You surviving
I'm just
as
trying
well.
to
Yes.
manage this child eating her food,
Yes.
drinking her water, and going to bed.
As if they're doing you a favor.
Like now I
by
must
eating.
worry.
What the hell?
Now I must worry about counting, breathing in 5 times.
Hey!
Oh my lord!
Where's the time?
Oh my
I'm in
Jesus.
the mall. I am by the till. I need to check in. I'm a sprint. People are behind me. No. No, kids are terrible
The
these
tank.
days.
And thing is, they know where to get you.
Yes, they're so
They
smart.
will embarrass you in public because they know that's where you are at your weakest.
And you can't
Kids are
teach them otherwise.
psychological psychopaths.
Motherfuckers.
Kids are psychos, guys. Those bitches, my God.
Evil. No, guys, I don't know what evil has taken over kids these days. Because I think about mom, like, firstly, mom guilt maybe comes from the space where mothers are feeling like they're not managing or they're not doing enough or they're not doing right or they're not mothering the way mothers are supposed to mother. And I think about our mothers, even though they were very present in our lives and like all about our lives, we were not there screaming. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe we
Yes.
pull yourself back.
Yes.
Yes.
You knew.
You just went, yeah.
You knew.
And like these
who
kids,
she was.
like my mom, all she needed to do is give me one look.
That is it.
And I knew, get yourself together.
Now they
Right
look
now.
back.
My own fruit of
Yeah.
my womb.
Now they beat
That's
you.
a stare down. My child, guys. Woo!
And she will bang that door. In whose house?
Hurting my feelings.
They write, oh my
You're
God,
not
guys.
Yes, and then she'll write.
A
My
letter.
mommy is always angry. Mom doesn't love me.
But yeah, guys, I didn't delve into my mom guilt because it's a lot. Like genuinely,
Like 1 hour is not enough.
I don't think we are bashing being a mom. Being a mom is great, but it's also hard. And I think like a lot of conversations surrounding motherhood are very
Romanticized.
mushy. Yes.
We
Ooh.
romanticize motherhood too much, and it's not a movie.
It's
It's
not.
not.
It's not a romantic movie. It's not an
No, it's a horror,
R&B music
guys.
video. It's it's a thriller. Every day we are fighting to survive. And for me, being a single mom, that's where mom guilt comes from. And especially financially.
Yeah.
Because you know you aren't able to do certain things that other parents are able to do. Your mom, your child, you go to macro, you're going shopping. Mommy, please buy me Twinkies. Mommy, please buy me this. And if you say, I don't have money, they start throwing a tantrum. And then now this stranger comes out of nowhere because now they see that your child is holding you here by the balls here. And then they say, okay, no, you know what? Here's R2.50, however much Tinkies is. Here's R2.50, thengela umntana man.
Humans
Ayekukhala.
Like humans are assholes.
That time, the mom guilt, and on the way to the car, you are pushing that trolley, your knuckles are turning purple,
And to be fair though,
and you feel guilty as well.
they feel guilty too, because they're fearing for this mother who seems to be struggling. It does seem like an asshole moment for the person who's coming in with their 2 cents. But what you can do when now the mother
ignore. That's the way to go.
Mingani-
Because had you not come and say, "Nay, R12.50 at Tinkies," I wouldn't have felt guilty. I wouldn't have felt inadequate. I wouldn't have felt unable to provide for my child. Because do you not think that I want to buy my child a Twinkies?
But do you also not feel like that tantrum is also putting you under some other pressure?
Rather
I
that
do.
pressure, it
I
does.
do.
But rather that, not added pressure from someone else now saying hello.
Okay. But I definitely get what Azam is saying because for me, whatever demands that my child has, I've spent enough time to know when she's just trying it, you know? So I know when I can completely ignore her tantrum and just be like, fetch your life, figure yourself out. I definitely know how to gauge when she's really in need of needs and wants at the time and when she's just really vying for attention. And so people just must mind their own business. Live your life.
Hey, Maria Srasela, mtana.
You block,
Nati, as much as the mother is ignoring, now blocker. Because kids, but then kids are attention whores. That's the thing that we need to understand. Kids are attention whores, guys. They will do anything for attention. And so if now they are not getting your attention, they will want to get attention from other strangers, knowing that it embarrasses you. So rather ignore. You see the child laying there on the floor. Me, I would leave my child. Shame at the mall. He'd be rolling on the floor, doing all these things. I go. I see nothing. Ignore.
I say when you are finished.
Yeah,
tell me.
you will find me in front.
But that's where the mommy guilt kicks in because we are the judged parents, and I feel like a lot of I can't say majority. I don't want to say majority, but like when you're coming from an environment where you have like support as a mother, you know, be it you have a partner, so it's mom and dad, be it you have a grandma, mom, auntie, mom. Like when you have support, it's much more easier for you to like navigate. So because you share the weight, right? The baby is throwing a tantrum, mom is not in the mood, granny, daddy, auntie will take over. Yabo, you sharing the weight. So for us as like 1000% single mothers, no one is sharing the weight. We have no one
It's
to
you,
like.
it's you.
Yes, we have no one to share the weight with or to. So like, then the mommy guilt kicks in because you are literally just letting this child roll over the floor, scream and shout because you don't have any bandwidth within yourself. You deal with this person on a daily basis. You've not had time to yourself to even like fart in peace. Now you are in public and they are doing the very same thing they always do in the house. So you are basically put under pressure because people are now viewing this. And that's exactly what the child wants, number one. But number two, that's exactly what the mother feels. So like you feel the pressure to be able to handle your child better. You feel the pressure to be able to calm down your child better because they say teach your child to breathe 5 times. So now the child is not breathing 5 times. The child is not USA.
Now you must breathe 5
And
times.
you are like feeling like the pits at that very moment. And no one can empathize with you, no one can sympathize with you, but everyone will definitely judge you about that very moment that you have no control over. That you also yourself are like defeated by, and the power is all on the child and the viewers of the tantrum, and you're the bad mother. And I think mom guilt hurts the most because you know you've taught your child better, your child knows better, but because there's an audience, the kid will not do better, and so the onus is on you to take on the weight of all the judgments and all the turans and whatnots that can be thrown in to further insult you, like, hey mother, fix that child, you know. It's intense, guys. And like, if you know anything about us, we are living, breathing, walking, talking contraceptives. If you have any doubts, question, okay.
Yeah, say don't I don't fall that side.
I will definitely. I don't think there's anyone who can say they are close to me and I've fully supported them wanting kids.
Yeah.
I will never lie to you about my personal experience. Regardless of the fact that I'm a single mother, and some people will say, oh, maybe it's because you're a single mother, that's why you feel this way. Maybe if you had a
it's
partner.
just a terrible human.
Guys,
A child.
guys.
Yeah, no, it's tense. But for me, in closing, what I will say to other mothers, single mothers, or just a mother that feels drained, whether or not you are married, you have a partner, because let's be honest, sometimes the fathers aren't really as supportive as we, looking from the outside in, think they are. Just because he's there doesn't necessarily mean he's there. He's just physically present, but they're not emotionally there. So to those mothers, I would just say, it's okay to be selfish, guys. It really is okay to take time out for yourself. Get a husa. That's why I'm saying, leave your child to throw whatever tantrum go to the other room, go outside, catch your breath. Because for me, I know I used to do that with my son. My son,
Yo, Bunky.
Punky used to. And like, for me to not get, and because I'm very short-tempered, and like I don't want to, you know, you don't want to do that as a mom as well. So you need to take a break for yourself and collect yourself, center yourself, then come back. Don't feel guilty for snapping at kids. Sometimes it happens. I like what Kanyimbao said on the Young and Famous, where she was saying that me and my child, we don't know each other. We are strangers trying to, and we've been thrust in each other's lives. We know nothing about each other. We're just trying to find our way around this to make it work, to get to know each other. Get to know your children better. Let them also get to know you better. But then don't be so hard on yourself. There's no perfect parenting manual. They are lying. All those positive discipline things, it's a lie. It's a lie. Do what you think is right. Because maybe maternal instinct is not real, but then instinct is.
Yeah.
You know what is right.
Sprinkle, sprinkle.
And
Sprinkle.
do whatever.
Sprinkle. Also, you're such a bomb-ass mom. Like, give yourself all the credits that you need in the smallest, tiniest moments and efforts, because that's all that you need, really. And no one is gonna give you that. Well
Pat
done.
on the back.
No
Pat
one.
yourself.
The world is very hard on us as mothers. The world expects so much of us as mothers. We ourselves expect a lot from our own mothers. So the only way for us to be kind is to be kind to ourselves. Like, cut yourself some slack, give yourself a break, and it's okay to want a break. You deserve the break. You need the break.
Take the child to the babysitter, just like you.
Yeah, like me. Is what the doctor prescribed.
Doctor ordered. The doctor subscribed a babysitter.
Oh my god. The
doctor.
Please follow and subscribe.
The daughter subscribed. Oh, sorry. No. Gather.
The doctor, my therapist, subscribed me.
Prescribed. Prescribed. Say it with
Follow
me.
and subscribe. Like it.
Yes.
My therapist. What she said.
2 weekends per month.
2 weekends per month, right? Because I was struggling with my child, my personal time. So she said, every month, give yourself 2 weeks every month where you are only by yourself and you pay for a nanny to take care of your child. So I will have 1 weekend with my daughter, 1 weekend off. 1 weekend with her, 1 weekend off. And that has literally improved my relationship with her, because on the weekends when I'm with her, I'm like, wow, let's catch up, let's do this. On the weekends when I'm off, I'm having my me time, I'm doing whatever I need to do, run the streets, because
Girl,
I was a geek guide at some point in my life. So yes, guys, don't be ashamed of like wanting to live your life,
and a better
also
you
being
makes
a
a better mom. Yeah,
Yes.
you are
Exactly.
fresh.
You in the English. I'm
Stop
so
it.
proud.
Azam, it's close as we value
Don't be ashamed if you don't ever want to be a mother.
Yes.
It is an absolutely valid feeling, decision. In fact, I think it's a better positionality, eh?
Don't do it.
Yeah. Pick your positionalities. Well, mothering is hard. it can be rewarding. It is a whole life altering journey and
yes.
experience. So remember, enter into it after having really fully grappled with what's there, because we are lied to about mothering. So don't buy the things you see on Instagram and Facebook. It's a lie. Find people who can tell you the truth, good friends who can expose you to like their real-time experiences and make informed decisions.
Real
Stay damseling, babes.
Like, be a damsel in your relationships, in your motherhood. Just damsel everywhere, anywhere, all around.
Yes. With that said, thank you so much for joining us. Join us on our YouTube channel, Misadventures of Black Damsels. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.